And I could have gotten depressed, I could have gotten like really low, but I said, nahi yaar, this is not me. And I really took it on myself that, listen, I'm going to do something that I'm going to be proud of, where I can look back and say I did it.
I have come to know that you're really partial towards women when it comes to the employment segment.
I think women are more honest and more real, and I think there is a little partiality that I do have.
Very few leaders I have come across talk about their failures with such deep emotions that you do.
I think when you get such a big kick on your ass, you really rev it up.
Women across all industries, across all professions, they go through is the imposter syndrome. Did you ever suffer from imposter syndrome?
If I think I can't do it, if I think I cannot, like how Ronita cannot do this, or Nina cannot be an international brand, Baggit cannot be, then that's the only thing that's stopping me.
Dear audience, we are super proud to have with us today our guest of honor, the firebrand visionary businesswoman, named by Fortune as the top 50 businesswomen in Indian business, none other than Lekhi, the founder and managing director of Baggit India Private Limited. As our guest of honor today at the Snakes and Ladder talk show with your host Ronita Sengupta, Nina's journey from starting Baggit 30 years ago at the age of 18 with just rupees 7,000 to building a 111 crore company perfectly embodies the snakes and ladders analogy many women entrepreneurs face. Despite the challenges, Nina has turned every obstacle into an opportunity, creating a thriving, eco-friendly, made-in-India brand. Her story is one of resilience, innovation, and unwavering belief in her vision. Today in this talk show, we will explore her incredible journey and what it truly means to elevate oneself in the face of adversity. Welcome, Nina, to the Snakes and Ladder show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for calling me here. I'm so excited about this program that you're doing, this show. I'm sure it's going to turn out amazing and get better and better. And we also have Baggit's birthday coming up, so it's a very special time for me. It's Baggit's 40th anniversary. Actually, it happens to be also my dad's birthday on the 2nd of October, and it also happens to be the day I started the company in a proper, organized way. So it's a good time for me to be here.
That's interesting because 40 is a milestone year, Nina, and you've been making waves with Baggit. So any plans for this 40th birthday of Baggit that you have? Anything special?
Yeah, we're celebrating it in the stores for the customers and all of that. So we've also launched our new Baggit.com, and we have very, very good quality products coming up now. So really excited to take it to the next level.
Wow. That's Nina Lekhi for us, and we are equally excited and very honored, Nina, to have you here with us today. Our talk show today primarily is going to really look at, your journey, the incredible journey that you've had, making Baggit one of its, kind and building a legacy out of it, because we are today in a very competitive market. And, I think today there will be a lot of entrepreneurs, men and women, who are going to listen out to you, and they're going to be inspired by your journey, definitely. So, Nina, I'm going to be focusing a lot on the ladder part and the elevation part in my coming up questions for you now. And I'm hoping that, you're going to give us some really, really interesting answers, because that's what Snakes and Ladder talk show is all about. And my first question for you, Nina, is that you began Baggit with just rupees 7,000, and you were very young at that time, just 18. So what were the tough and those early obstacles that you had faced, and what did you do and how did you flip them into success? We are very curious to know.
Yeah, so it's a very interesting story. So I was 16, got out of school, so my favorite subject in school time was art and craft. So I said, what do I pick up? So normally in our time, there was only arts, commerce and science. There were only three major categories that people would pick up. But I thought I wanted to do something different in art and craft. So I went to a polytechnic college, which had all of these things. And I was so busy partying because I was like, Saturday night, Greece. I was living in that zone. I was like, college is not to be attended. But sadly, this college was to be attended. I realized that at the end of the year when they flunked me, my other friends went through and I was left with, okay, what do I do with myself? So, and I could have gotten depressed. I could have gotten like really low. But I said, nahi yaar, this is not me. Because, I was always very goody-goody in school. I was always like a, head girl. And topper, at least till the sixth, seventh standard. But after a while, I realized that I can't take this badly. And I said, let me do what I can do. Luckily, my parents were very positive. No one told me anything. And I remember I used to walk home, keep crying, and all of that stuff. And I really took it on myself that, listen, I'm going to do something that I'm going to be proud of, where I can look back and say I did it. Bahut baar we feel like, why do these bad things happen to us? But I would say these bad things really catapulted me into what I could be. Otherwise, I would have been a housewife and doing nothing else. So, really, it was thank you, God.
Wow, that's the energy and the fire, Nina, that you're so famous for. And I believe that, you're sharing these innermost, thoughts, reflections, and emotions will help our women, of today, whether they are trying to become entrepreneurs like you, or, they're trying to really do well in their respective industry. I think that's the energy and spirit level that our women need today to get up to that ladder. And I'm so glad that, you took that failure to the chin. So my next question to you is, Nina, that you've always believed in that eco-friendly, sustainable brand. And that's why you made Baggit one of the made in India brand that, is famous globally. So how did you embed that sustainability into Baggit's DNA? And what were the biggest wins and hurdles that you faced when you were conceptualizing this?
So I think anything that you want to do different from what everyone else is doing, it always takes a little bit more contemplation, a little bit more, struggling, going there, getting it done. So I know that if you go to a large format store today, almost all the brands are bringing in goods from China, white labeling them, putting their brand name and bringing it. And really the kind of product, because everyone wants to earn more, so the kind of product quality that we get materials that would last in Mother Earth for 500 years. And that is something that I don't think, any woman, I would say any male also, you got to be thinking of this. And we know that what we've already done, the pollution, the weather, all of these things, we know we want to leave something for our kids. So it's always been very important for me that we look at which material, what will happen, what lining, what zips, all of that stuff has always been my priority. I think as a woman or as a mother, you tend to, just like how you see what am I putting in my child's mouth or what am I putting on the table, you always have to look at what am I putting in, all the consumers who are going to be, we make like about 2 lakh pieces a month. So that's crazy. You can't have that going in Mother Earth. So we've always made sure everything that we use in Baggit is, if not biodegradable, at least, it is recyclable. Wow. But now we've also gone the extra mile. We're also introducing, in fact, the mid of this month, we're going to be introducing a new brand called Mati. Mati, like I think most
Earth.
Indians will know,
Yes,
Mother Earth,
yes,
it is.
of course.
So that's a brand that's completely, it's either cane, it's, papier-mâché, so it's like natural stuff, or it's also upcycled stuff. Like, we've taken a cement car, what they use, gunnies, we've used old clothes, so upcycled things to make handbags. And they're not very expensive. They're a little bit more than what the normal bags would be. But I think we all need to go that extra mile so that they are, we're not leaving any carbon footprints at all.
Wow.
So let's hope.
That's phenomenal, Nina, because I am a fan of Baggage myself, okay? And honestly speaking, not only your brand speaks for itself, but it resonates with every working woman here today, whether we are stepping out to our office or we are probably going into any kind of social gathering. I think Baggett is a brand that we all resonate with. And I think your leadership style has been very authentic because what you tell us today comes straight from the core of your heart. And I, who's just very new into the C-suite leadership, I'm also trying to explore my leadership style. I would want to ask you, Nina, that, you've been into spirituality for a very long time and every leadership style is very, very unique. So how did your meditation, your spirituality and your kind of, focusing into the realm of yoga has helped you grow as a leader?
So I think it's been a journey where my husband has also helped me a lot, Manoj Lekhi. He's actually also a disciple of Guruji Rishi Prabhakarji. Even I am. And I think we also connected through our MET college days where we started a school. My husband still has a school in the ashram over here. And my husband also does this program with my team. So it's not only for me, because I've always had this thing of culture of whatever I like, I want to give to my team. I think that happens naturally. And, so I think that the creation of love, the creation of togetherness, the creation of going through the ups and downs, or the snakes and ladders that you call, in life together with the team has helped my whole team to really bond and to be together through everything. And I think that space that we, when we go out for silence camps together, we go to the ashram together for 3 days, we see each other playing games, trekking, all of those things. I think the togetherness that creates is far beyond anything. The love, the togetherness that you get, that makes the team go super.
Wow, that's really, really nice to know. Nina, my next question about elevation is going to be a little tricky. Now, I have come to know that you're really partial towards women when it comes to the employment segment. Do you agree?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I am.
Yeah, and I'm hearing that you're doing a lot of things. You're exploring how you can actually build employment into the rural industry as well, or into the rural areas of India, which I think itself is pretty exceptional, because doing a fashion brand, an accessory brand like Baggit, and then looking at the target employment generation into the rural belt is quite I would say quite ambitious, and also very challenging I would say approach. But coming to the fact that I know that you would always prefer more women in leadership positions and to be working very closely with you, we believe that your brand success, you give a lot of credit to your team. So I want to know, and that's something I think every woman leader who's watching you, or every woman entrepreneur would like to know, that what is your secret sauce, and the secret recipe for building a mighty, powerful team and keeping them together?
So I think it just happens. I can't say there's any secret sauce that I would know of, but I think, like I said in the previous thing, I think togetherness, trust, and I wouldn't say that I prefer to choose a woman. Like, for example, if I've got two people similar, I would maybe, yeah, till to getting a woman slightly. But obviously, if the expertise is different, we would have a male or a female. That wouldn't matter. I think women are more honest and more real, and I think there is a little partiality that I do have.
Okay.
And I also, I think what's most important is we know that the maids and the help that we get so many times in our houses to work for us at measly amounts, we know that they don't even get 5,000 rupees to survive in their village, and they have houses, and they have everything, they have nature with them, which we don't have in the metros, but they still have to leave all of that and come here. So my dream is obviously to scale and keep scaling, and we can give employment to the women in their towns, in their little villages, is coming up. Dheere dheere hoga, inshallah.
Thank you. And I would like to add a note to this. You are already part of the Viksit Bharat movement, Nina, and I think you're really doing a lot to build up a skilled India. It doesn't really matter, that you are definitely behind that note of, bringing up more women workforce, but I think it is absolutely phenomenal that someone like you, who started from a very humble beginning, and you've brought up a 111 crore brand today in this, business of Indian market, but that has been exceptional. So it's now time dive a little deeper and look at how your journey, which must not have been without challenges, how did you face the snakes, and all the obstacles that came in your way? And when I talk about snakes, Nina, I keep on saying in all my, I think shorts and the episodes that I've seen, that snakes are of different kinds. Some of them could be pythons, some of them could be king cobras, some could be the bigger ones like anacondas. So I definitely want to know that, your first failure, which happened when, you had your university examination, you couldn't clear it, and you talk about it very openly. And very few leaders I have come across talk about their failures with such deep emotions that you do. But just wanted to understand that, when you went through that entire episode, what was your, reflection? What was your realization? And what kind of, made you into the very determined, resilient woman that you are today?
I think when you get such a big kick on your ass, You really rev it up, right? You say, okay, what the hell can I do? I think it was like I got electrocuted, like, okay, this has happened to my life because I was so busy partying, I was busy seeing movies, I wasn't bothered ki college mein kya hai. But then I think the best part was that not only did I get part-time jobs, so not only did I start Baggit in that year, not only did I do the sales girl job, I also went back to that college, got a Maharashtra State Art Award. I was like, ye bhi nahi chhodna hai. And you know, at that time, winning in getting a Maharashtra State Art Award was a very big thing because
Yes.
Sapphires was like Kacha Limbu in comparison to JJ School of Arts, which is, if you're a Mumbaiite, you would know about it.
Yes.
They are like the real artists,
artists.
you know. But I think art is there in every form, even if I can't even draw today. But I think art is there in creativity. So I think that big kick that you get in life is what makes you work.
Thank you for teaching us that failures are
Yeah.
the cornerstone of success. And I think that has just not been the one snake that you faced. If I recall, and you speak about it in all your interviews very openly, that, you know, your canvas bags, that faced initial skepticism because you were a big supporter, and you wanted canvas bags to come into the market, into the fashion and apparel industry. How did you overcome the doubt and you made Baggit a trusted brand?
Yeah, I remember when I used to make the first few bags and I used to go to my grandmom's house and I used to say, because they were cloth bags in the beginning. They were like, ye bag mein kya lenge? Log bhaji lenge. You know, that was the joke at home.
Yeah.
And so when I failed in that first year of college, I did screen printing. And the first and the most obvious thing that I could think of is, you know, you get t-shirts with graphics. You don't get handbags with, you know, just a graphic. And I remember the first bag I made was I am confused and the S was ulta. And that was the state of my mind at that point. So yeah, I still love canvas and rope handles and
Wow, wow. And I think we see that, you know, in terms of the products that you're coming up with the innovation, you know, and with the different materials that you rightly said, you know, which are vegan and which are eco-friendly. I think canvas definitely plays a very important role, but very few designers or entrepreneurs probably at this point of time would like to, you know, focus on products like that, but which you have done. And I think it's very courageous of you, Nina. But I also would like to know that, you know, you have mentioned in a couple of your, about your journey into the business world, that your first store had flopped, you know, and you really didn't find success with the first store that you launched. So how did you bounce back, Nina, from that very, I think, critical milestone that one could call in their entrepreneurship career? And what was your key takeaway from that episode?
so I think the first store I just did out of convenience because it happened to be like 10 minutes away from my house. I remember there was a store that was about 1.5 hours, you know, Mumbai traffic. And I was like, there's no way I could do that. I had just shifted to a nuclear family. I had just had a baby. I was feeding her. She was 1 year old. There was no way that I could travel 1.5 hours one way, design a store. And you know how much legwork it takes when it's the first store. I said, I can't do that. And there was a store that was very close by, and I knew that mall is not going to do well. But I still went into it because I did a program at that time through my husband. You know, it was writing about the visions and all of that. And I was so clear that I want to do that. I did that. I lost money. I used to only get my, you know, goods come paisa. I used to not get, you know, the feasibility of the staff or the rental, everything. It was a loss. But luckily, you know, I think the universe looks at the vision that we create. The second store was feasible. And then I remember the third store made everything break even. Then there was no looking back. Today we are 100 plus stores, franchisees taking care of them. And it's a most loved brand, I would say. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So, if you have to describe this journey of making 100 outlets in one word, okay, you sit back, put a hand on your heart, and you just close your eyes before the 40th birthday of Baggit. How would you describe it in one word?
It's just been fabulous, the journey. And so I go every week to attend to my customers. Like now also after I finish this, I'll go to the store and I will attend to my customers because I think customer is God. And every week they will tell me something in my ear which I need to improve in my product. I need to get my pricing better. I need to improve the quality. And I'll tell you today, Ronita, we reached a point where we are at par with a Chinese product. And I would say very few people in very few industries could say that they are at par in quality and price with a Chinese product because obviously the kind of volumes those guys
Yes.
do, we are nowhere near them. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, it's going crazy. White labeling is the way the world is going. But we managed to do that and get that quality and finish. That's like an achievement. I think it's taken 40 years when we've reached there.
Yeah, but they say that Rome was not built in a day, and you've certainly built your own Rome. I'm sure you will
Yeah, yeah.
agree to that. Now, my next question to you again, and this could be a little controversial, but I will still ask you that in an age of Louis Vuitton and Gucci, what was the toughest snake that you faced while scaling Baggit as a made in India brand, and how did you outgrow it? What was that success story that you built?
Yeah, so I think it is a time where I think marketing is the key. And we know that the bigger brands, or especially in handbags, I think just carrying a handbag gives you a status symbol, right?
Yes.
You don't know which brand of clothes that someone is wearing or footwear, but a handbag says it all. I think so. That's one thing I think. If you ask me, in Baggett, we've grown organically. We've grown from the love of the consumers buying more, and banking on us. But today, if you ask me to rewind back and say what would I have done differently in the last 40 years, I'll say marketing. So now my next decade is going to be all about marketing and tech. I think MarTech is just one word today.
Yes.
There is that no life or no business without technology because it makes things easy. But I think marketing is one thing that I'm not aspiring to be a Louis Vuitton or a Gucci or anything like that. But I think there is some cognition of getting a brand out there, and that's very interesting to learn how to do that.
So, one thing that really makes me more in awe of you is that you never stop learning. You're always open. You're always agile to kind of, asking questions and learning the new ways of things, be it designing or, as you said, even learning the new part of, technology and marketing. So, talking about the competition, with international, national brands, and of course, I mean, you are a businesswoman, you know that you have to face that, in the coming 40 years as well. What is your game plan to make Baggett stand out? Like, you don't have to say it all, but at least, give us some bit of it. That what is the next milestone? What is that leap of faith for you, Nina?
I think just resonating with what the consumer wants, keeping like how the doctor checks your health. So you just keep doing that, and I think the path keeps coming up. There is no big strategy. But we understand the Indian consumer very well. We are going into other countries, and we will understand that consumer also well. So I think that consumer product fitment is a very important space. The product and which customer will buy it in a metro. What is the price that she'll buy in a Kolhapur, Sholapur? So all of these things are really important for all of us, and I think that is what business is, and then there's no stopping anyone.
Wow. Well, that was quite, I think, inspiring to hear it from you. Nina, I have a question, and this is pertaining to a little deeper into the way women today perceive themselves, in spite of being educated and much more, independent than what our mothers or grandmothers were. I kind of, come to know of this very common phenomena that women across all industries, across all professions, they go through is the imposter syndrome. And I'm curious to know, Nina, that, all the way that you came, bringing Baggett and creating the legacy that this brand is all about today. Did you ever suffer from imposter syndrome that, not believing, that you could come this way? Because I think your words would be very important for our audience there today. Like, as a woman, I have gone through this phase of questioning myself that would I be able to, launch a talk show of my own? Will I be able to, get there where there could be 100 other talk shows, 100 of other people talking about, women rights, women empowerment, but I wanted to talk about elevation and creating a brand of my own. That's the reason I said I'm pretty much inspired by you, because I remember there have been times when I've been looked down upon by senior leaders, of my organization, where I had a certain vice president, in one of my earlier organization, calling it out aloud that, you think that you're going to make a brand of yourself. And I took a step back that day thinking that, well, will it really be possible? But today, here I am, standing before one of the biggest brands that India knows, that is Nina, Lekhi and Baggit. I really want you to share your thoughts on this, Nina.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you get challenged day in, day out, right? Today there's so much media, there are other brands who are doing everything possible. And then that some brand is very good at marketing, some brand is very good at tech, some brand is very good at discounting, some brand is good at different things, pricing. So I think every time we get challenged, we get better and better. And I've always had that thing of learning. And I think that's what's invigorating, right? In business, that is what is the thrill every day or every week or every month. You're on up to something else. There's something on a back burner where I'm learning tech from a good friend of mine who is our CTO also today. I'm learning marketing from a consultant who's worked with the brands. So I think learning every day is so important, and pushing that, bars and saying I can do more, I can do better. I think hearing motivational talks every morning, I'll do my cycling and my swimming regime. There is nothing that is stopping me, because I know that anything that stops me is only this. If I think I can't do it, if I think I cannot, like how Ronita cannot do this, or Nina cannot be an international brand, Baggit cannot be, then that's the only thing that's stopping me. So getting all the skill sets that's needed. I think some women may be good at design, some women may be good at finance, and you can never be good at everything, because that's how he's made all of us, or all of us are focused on one thing. And you can always, as an entrepreneur, bring in resources to help you with the other things. So if you wish it, it's there. That's all. God bless you also for your...
Thank you, Nina, because I believe, and you, which you keep saying in some of your interviews, that what you desire is a manifestation of the universe, that you want something so badly. I wanted you so badly to be in this show, and that's why you're here today as one of my honored guests. And I think the next question and the last of this segment that I really want the audience to hear from you is for women who are just starting their entrepreneurial journey, and they might encounter similar king cobras, pythons, anacondas, that you have encountered. What advice would you give them to stay motivated and not giving up on their dreams?
So I think just one thing is there, that keep yourself motivated. Not to keep yourself motivated is then you're not going to land up doing much in life, or you're going to do whatever, you get kicked on the side, you do anything. But I think if you really believe in achieving your dreams, there's nothing to stop you. There's just you. That's all. I mean, I can't say more. And I think writing it down or doing a program or whatever helps you. I think that taking that first 1 hour in the morning, not looking at garbage on any, of your phone and all the stupid things that we do, and taking out that 1 hour, which is what my husband teaches me also. Okay. Even till today, he's like, did you spend your time with yourself? Or doing anything that's most important in your business in the second hour, focusing really. These are the two things I think someone has to make a habit, just like how you have your brush your teeth, you have your chai. These couple of things, if I think any person just does diligently, there's nothing that's going to stop. I mean, he's blessing us all the time with what we want.
Wow. So these are some very important life lessons that came from Nina Lekhi. And thank you, Nina, for such a candid conversation in the first segment of our show today. But it's time to move on to one of the most interesting segments that I'm sure our audience would also want to see, where we are going to play the game of snakes and ladder, and we'll see where the dice rolls, whether you fall into the mouth of snakes or you get some ladders for yourself to elevate yourself and us up along with you. But let's get started. So audience, let the game begin with none other than Nina Lekhi. So ladies and gentlemen, we've now entered one of the most interesting segment of the Snakes and Ladders show with Ronita Sengupta, but with our firebrand guest, Nina Lekhi. And this part is very interesting for me because we make our guest play the famous game of the Snakes and Ladder. So are we all ready? Nina, are we ready?
Absolutely.
Then let the game begin. So what we are going to see is Nina rolling the dice on the Snakes and Ladder board, and we'll see how many snakes she encounters and what are the ladders that she gets for herself. So Nina, here we go. Let's roll the dice.
6.
Ooh, that's
Safe.
Safe. That's a good one. And Nina, I'm going to ask you a question from the safe space point of view, because this is rapid fire and I want you to just answer in one word if you can. Okay. How do you silence your critics?
Keep quiet in front of them. Don't say anything.
Okay, that's interesting. Let's roll the next one.
6.
Okay, that's another 6.
Wow.
All right.
Safe again.
Safe again. Nina is playing safe. So my next question to her is, one piece of advice you would have given to your younger self?
Do the marketing bit first.
Okay, wonderful. All right, the next dice, please. That's 3. Okay, Nina, this is the snake's mouth, and
Yeah,
that takes
and
you
I'm done.
down to 1.
Oh.
Another snake waiting,
Oh,
that takes you
oh,
down
oh.
to 2. Now, this is the interesting part of the game because I get to ask her definitely some questions which are going to be explosive. Nina, my question to you is one stereotype you had to fight.
I think when I'm in school, I was told, you're just pretty, you be a model. And my teacher used to keep telling me that and make me stand up in class almost every week. So that was one stereotype that she had put me in.
That pretty faces are just,
Can't be anything more.
yeah. Okay, all right. The next one, please. Okay, that's a 3. All right, great. So again, a safe space for you, Nina, but I would like to ask you one word for those who, consider ambitious women to be a threat.
Yeah, I think traditional men, maybe my dad was like that. And he was like, no, you women just keep quiet. You listen to what we say. That's how.
But we women now have a voice,
Yeah.
and that voice can't be silenced anymore. So we have a live example with us. So Nina, let's 2.
Oops.
All right. So I have a snake wala question for you. I think Nina is more interested to answer the snake question. Okay. So your biggest snake in your professional ladder. Name it, Nina. Come on.
Not name, but I would say, yeah, someone very important in my life and learned so much of following my pulse and my heart and not listening to, yeah.
Okay. I'm sure that snake is listening now. All right. Let's have the next round. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, again here.
Another snake question for Nina. So my question to you is that the toughest battle you fought as a woman entrepreneur.
I think going to the markets, when you're going to buy your stuff, everyone is like a little aghast at why are these women over here in the market? And I think once I fainted in a store which was full of plastic and I was buying material for monsoon bags. Scary.
That must have been some experience. All right, let's see now where the next dice rolls. Okay, and my question to you for this particular movement is, Nina, one punchline to those who underestimated you.
Go take a flying.
That was interesting, and that's what Nina Lekhi is all about. As I always keep saying, the awe-inspiring, women of business, women of purpose, and an authentic leader. And Nina, that was quite an interesting round of snakes and ladder played by Nina Lekhi. But, I definitely believe that whatever number of snakes she came across or the ladders, Nina is still the reigning queen in the world of fashion and apparel industry. And Nina, we want you to take your place right at the top. So you need to move the queen right there on the top.
Yo.
Great. And as they rightly say that a queen is never afraid to fail because failures are the greatest cornerstones and foundation of greatness and success. That is what Nina Lekhi teaches us. So thank you so much, Nina, for making it to the episode of the Snakes and Ladder Show with us. We were so overwhelmed and honored to have you with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This beautiful memento from the team of the Snakes and Ladder Show. Thank you, Nina.
Thank you. Thank you, Ronita.
Thank you.